Hey y'all, I'm Qurissy, and welcome back to Photographer Life Check, where we check in about all things image making. Today, we are celebrating Women's History Month with Black Image Center.
Yay.
Today, we have Dakotah Whiting and Astrid Kayembe. Woo! Guys, before we get into the intro, like we always do, I'm going to jump straight into the photography check. Please, Astrid, how about we start with you? What are you wearing today?
I love this question. So for my top, I'm wearing it's a sort of limited run Sister Dreamer t-shirts by Cumtees. It's a collaboration
Gorgeous.
between Lauren Halsey and the designer Sonia Sombrel, who's behind Cumtees. Wearing some just like basic Levi's jeans, and then my favorite socks from Mother.
Hey,
Mother, there was
this might be the first sock shout out, and I really appreciate it.
Oh, I'm
So,
I'm a sock girly down. I really take pride in my socks.
yay.
I love it. So I have on an Alice Coltrane shirt. It's actually better from the back. From the Hammer Museum. You can see her.
Hey.
Wear
Oh,
this.
I wanted to see that.
It
I
was beautiful. It was such a beautiful exhibition. So I have that. That's all I can talk about because I don't have pants on or socks because it's hot. So
Yes, heat wave.
stunning. Uh, Today I have on is this yeah, the Uniqlo tee, the one that I have been obsessed with for a long time.
love
And I actually
Unique.
have on some Uniqlo leggings, but they're
On
my
Unique.
set leggings, so no reason to show you
Uniqlo
guys that
gem.
one. Oh,
Oh,
but the
she's in
hair, shout
Chicago.
out to the hair,
Thank
still
you.
holding
Yeah.
up. Shout out to my braider emoji in
Wow.
Chicago. If y'all are in Chicago and need your hair braided, get yourself a little braided baldy.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Okay, now let's get into it. For context, I would love if you guys could kind of help me introduce you. Dakotah, I'll start off with you just because she's a repeat guest. We had Dakotah on season 1, episode 10, talking about travel photography. So if you've been here for a minute, you already know who Dakotah is. But for the girls who don't know, she is head of social media strategy and a community coordinator at Black Image Center today, and also an incredible photographer and production studio owner. Yes. Anything you would like to add to that, Dakotah?
That was perfect. Thank you.
Amazing. And Astrid here, our first time guest on the show. Yes, 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 yes. Is actually an incredible writer. So she's not exactly an image maker, but she works with bringing images to life every single day as a writer. Can you let the people know a little bit more about you? Also, what you do at BIC?
Yes, yes. Like Chrissy, thank you so much. I'm Chrissy, and I'm happy to be here. I'm a writer. Yeah, I'm a journalist. I've written for LA Times, Essence, LA Times Image Magazine, Food and Wine. Well, a couple of other newspapers. I worked at the Memphis Commercial Appeal for a little while, and yeah, always taking new writing assignments. But after my fellowship at LA Times, I started volunteering at Black Image Center, and just after spending so much time there, I really just enjoyed being in the space with other Black image makers and storytellers, and yeah, so eventually that led to me becoming a community coordinator, and so yeah, just helping bring people together, keep people together, and yeah.
Beautiful. And I'm so glad we ended with you too, because what I really want to know as a writer, your work is an important component, especially at the magazines and publications that you work for or write for. Um, they're an important component as well as a piece of art when it comes to the features that you contribute to. And so I might be able to guess how your images are important to you in your work, but I would love to know, can you talk about the importance of images to you when it comes to your personal life?
Of course. Uh I think visuals or thinking, or maybe I don't know if it's maybe informed my work as of late, or if this is how I've always been. But I think just being around so many photographers recently, I think about images first and think about
Hmm.
scenes. Since I'm a feature writer, which means I get to write 7,000 words about like how beautiful something is. Basically, is what they let me do. And so I always think in images, and they continuously inspire me. I'm trying to think of some really great. photographs or paintings
That
that
was
I've
gonna be
seen.
my
I think
next question, if you think in
yeah,
images or in words.
yeah.
Mm,
I think definitely words, but I think some things that have really like helped me um see I think things that have definitely or some images that have been really great for me to see recently have been I saw the Noah Davis show at the Hammer quite recently, and his famous painting, I forget what it's called exactly, but it's ballerinas in the projects essentially.
Yeah.
And I feel like that, as being someone who's from the projects in LA, I think that work speaks to so much of what I do is just sort of seeing beauty in all those smaller cracks. And so that image has been sort of a lodestar for me ever since. And I think
Mm.
even before then, it's like thinking very like I think LA is a very cinematic city to begin with. So just it's so picturesque, right? It's like, we have downtown to the east, if you could Hollywood sign to the north, palm trees all around. It's a beautiful city to live in, and it continues to inspire me. So yeah, I think I'm just continuously inspired by LA's beauty.
Yes, come on. I love to hear it. It's also special to me, and I don't know why I haven't asked more writers this. I have so many writer homies. But sometimes I do see words in my head when I am saying a specific word, and it also might look a specific way. Like some words are red, some words are white. They have different fonts.
Mhm.
Does it work like that for you?
If words have like color, no, not really like a synesthesia girl. Um, No, not really, but I think a lot about, like, rhythm, I think, like, which I'm sure, like, a lot of writers do, especially, like, thinking about, like, poetry, but even in journalism, right, it's just, like, the sort of flow of a sentence. I think rather than,
True.
like, maybe than, like, words and colors, more like words and sounds, which I think are
I like this.
more closely linked.
So a
yeah.
rap album is coming soon. I like this. I like this.
Oh, yes, with
Yeah.
MC Ashford.
Dakota, can you tell us how you got involved with Black Image Center, please?
Of course. Like Astrid, I started off as a volunteer. I don't even know how long I was volunteering for. I actually can't remember. Honestly, like the beginnings of Black Image Center, it just feels like a blur because we've just been involved like for a while. But yeah, I started off as a volunteer and just kept showing up. I was coming to events, obviously co-working before we started helping out with co-working. And then I just fell in love with the space and the people and yeah, just stuck. And then got closer with Maya and she found out I did social media and then just made sense. So I've been here ever since.
Yay. Love it. Also,
Yeah.
for those who don't know, can one of you or maybe both of y'all collab on this and talk about what Black Image Center is and has grown into? And while y'all do that, I'll pull up the website.
So Black Image Center is a 501(c)(3) arts nonprofit dedicated to giving Black storytellers the resources they need to be able to thrive and create. And so that means anything from doing workshops about like film development, different film development techniques, doing workshops on different film formats, to residencies, artist residencies. I mean, Dakota, what else do we do?
Please,
Dakota,
we
check
do.
it, check it.
I think we do so much that I'm like, how do we say it all? But so many different types of events. We'll have, leaders come on and teach workshops. We'll have people do like photography sessions. We'll have screenings. We have a little bit of everything. Or we're trying to go on a field trip soon. So yeah, stay tuned. Black Family Archive. Just yeah, lots of
Yeah.
things.
Yes, field
I think
trip.
sitting at Black Image Center once, it was funny in the moment, but I refer to it all the time. But one of the guys who would come and hang out at Black Image Center, Josiah Davis, who's an incredible illustrator, he was just like, even the name Black Image Center. But that's really what it means, right? It's like centering Black storytellers, centering
Mhm.
the Black experience in Black art forms, putting it in the center. I thought that was really profound.
Mhm.
And also one of our flagship programs, of course, is Black Family Archive, where we invite an archivist who we'll hear from soon, Madelyn, to digitize people's photos. We collaborate with other organizations like TABE. India Griffin, who's another amazing archivist,
Mhm.
comes. She, we have different touch points for ways people to engage with their own family's archives and start their own. And so yeah, that's a really, really big one.
That's
Yep.
so important. And I think if I could just share about my history with Black Image Center, I was one of the residents for the Black Image Center and Getty residency that happened in 2023, I think. Yes. But prior to that, I remember just seeing all of my other photographer and image maker homies talk about this space. But every time y'all had an event, it was either like sold out or I had a shoot to do that day. So I like kept missing it. And I'm like, I need to be at Black Image Center. Hello. Like, why is it so difficult? So finally I get the opportunity to go. And I actually had the most amazing time there with 2 other image makers, and we just ended up in a long conversation. Then I joined the residency, and after that, Black Image Center could not get rid of me. I was there all the time, creating something, getting people to go so that more people in LA can find their community. Black Image Center I think is helpful for all image makers nationally, but it is technically based in LA. So there is a huge community and huge focus on what Black Image Center and like the reach of Image Center in LA specifically.
It's amazing. And once we moved out of our space in Culver City in May of 2025. But once when we were there, I just, I'm just in hindsight thinking about how important just having the sort of space um and access to certain equipment that people wouldn't have, right? We had like lights available for rent for for very low cost, C
Mm.
stands, like you could print photos for basically free, with a small donation. If you could, and we weren't really pressing people either. You know what I mean? Like we all know what it's like to be like a freelance creative, and so the space was just so important for us to have. But even without the space, just like being able to take our programming to different places has been even much more impactful. I think, Black Image Center attracts a lot of Black creators, but also want to attract people who maybe have not even like had that touch point yet, right? Has never seen an Epson scanner, or who've never picked up like a film camera before. And so Black Image Center is undergoing like a sort of transition right now, which I'm sure we can talk about later. But yeah, just thinking about the ways in which it's persist in different ways has also been really great.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And
Mhm.
speaking of transition, actually, I want to make mention that Black Image Center is a woman founded and woman operated company. Originally, Black Image Center started out with plenty of different identities, but ultimately, Black women pulled through and have survived the Black Image Center to this day. And like Astrid already mentioned, it's a transition, and once y'all closed your doors, I mean, it was such a celebration. It was like a family reunion that day. It was so beautiful. I wanna know how y'all have been feeling in this transition. Are there anything, like, exciting you're looking forward to? Some projects you're working on?
Yeah, absolutely. Honestly, I think when we closed our doors, this sounds cheesy, but it literally opened up so many other doors for us to kind of just extend and exist in so many different spaces that maybe we couldn't have before. And really leaning on our other community members. We work with like Reparations Club and Radical Hood Library and Sid at Art House. And I think everyone's just been so gracious to offer us their spaces. So, which has really helped us kind of expand into whatever we want to be. We are in the process of building a board, but even then, I think in the meantime, like Astrid and I have had so many really fun ideas and projects, and people are still coming to us of like, let's do this, let's do that, and yeah, it just so many new exciting things. I think it's just expanded our capacity for what we could be. Could we be, national? Is it global? So stay tuned. It's exciting.
PLC is a staple in the global community. I'm calling it.
Okay. I think so.
We'll claim it. I'll claim
Yeah.
it.
So here I actually built a new little segment just for us because it's Women's Month. Have y'all ever seen this TikTok video? I'm calling this segment Name a Woman because of this TikTok video. I'm gonna show y'all real quick.
Name a woman. Why? No, name a woman.
Name a woman.
Yes, go.
Any?
Yes. Oh my god,
Yes.
this is so hard.
Name a woman.
Um,
Name a woman. Name a woman. No.
That is so.
I used to love Billy on the Street, and like I got a journalism degree, so I could do that, and that's what it feels like every when I go out into the street.
Okay, can I just say though, as a woman who cannot say things under pressure, like ask me anything and my mind just goes, like you could be like, what's your name? And if you're like calling it out of me, I'm like, I don't know. Like
Yo, I love some of his videos too, but that video I saw years ago, and it has just stuck with me since that she fumbled under that pressure. She couldn't think of her mama. She couldn't think of nobody. And I was like,
nobody.
we need better in the world. We need to be able to name a woman all the time.
She could
So
have named
it's a section of Women's Month. I was like, let's bring in Name a Woman. So here I would love if y'all could shout out a woman that y'all met at or because of Black Image Center and just show them some little love. You know what I'm saying? Whoever would like to start.
I'll start actually. So I met T Essence through Black Image Center. I wanted to shout her out anyways, but she was such an incredible she like helped create our artist residency, the California Coast in Color. And I was a photographer during that. So I wasn't actually in the cohort, but I got to be there every day and kind of see what everybody got up to. And she was just such a strong, such a strong leader in the space and just her ideas and the way that she helps bring everything together. And it was such a beautiful program. So shout out to Essence.
Hey, TSS. We love you. All right. Name a woman, Astrid.
I know I shouted her out already, but Madelyn Inez from O to LA. The first time I ever got like a photo scanned was at a Black Family Archive event, and I met her, and immediately she saw my jewelry and was like, "Oh, are you Belizean?" They're I have them on right now. They're just some Belizean traditional jewelry. It just felt. I just didn't know what to expect. I like wasn't super. I've never been to an event like Black Family Archive. I hadn't been to a Black Family Archive before, and just like seeing her there, understanding my family's like sort of background. She's also Belizean, and it was just really cool to just have that conversation with her and even begin to start thinking like, what does archiving look like in my own family, and have that. And not being able to have that conversation with somebody that has that context was so beyond just heartwarming, really. So yeah, shout out Big Maddie.
Love you over here. Also, I didn't know. Am I wrong? Because I say Belizean. Should we be saying Belizean? Please let us know.
I over enunciate, but you can say Belizean. It's just like when you say
can say
that, it's like people are always just like, "What? You're from Belgium?"
Okay.
So-
I'm just making sure I'm not getting it wrong out here being disrespectful.
No, you're doing it right. You're doing it right.
Okay, perfect. And I want to talk about what we're imagining for the future of BIC. Can y'all please let me know something you hope to see at BIC? Maybe it's a personal project that you want to help steward or a partnership that maybe you're already in the works of getting together.
Astrid, you want to start?
There's one program that is in the works that I'm super excited about. So as I just mentioned, my family's from Belize, but specifically we're Griffin people. So we're an Afro-Indigenous group that is it's like a long history, but essentially who were never enslaved and exiled who are a mix of Africans who were captured from Africa, or that history is also debated too, but who were captured from the coast of Africa and landed in St. Vincent in the Caribbean, and then were exiled because they refused to be enslaved by the British, were then exiled to Central America, and their culture was able to thrive there. And so because of that history, we have two major holidays in the community, and one is Griffin Day of Survival, or Griffin Survival Day, which is in April. And that just celebrates the fact that because now there are like over 600,000 Griffin people living today. I think, and not even just living today, I think just in the United States. But we're all the descendants of 2,000 people that survived that exile from the island. And so it's just a matter of like celebrating that history. And so what we really want to do is just do a portrait session that day when we have a celebratory mass. Everybody gets together, people fly in. It's a whole event. And LA has the second most Garifuna people in the US. And so it's always a huge gathering. It's beautiful. People come dressed in their traditional wear. It's like intergenerational. And so I really just want to do a portrait session to be able to capture that history, give people that, a touch point for their own archives, and hopefully it just becomes like an archive of its own, right? To be able to hopefully donate that to like a major library or a Griffin museum or something to that effect.
I cannot wait for this. That's gonna be so beautiful. What a great idea.
Mhm.
And like a huge
Thank you.
celebration. Crazy.
Thank you.
Yeah, excited for that one. That was Astrid's idea too, so shout out Astrid, 100%. I think for me, so this is one that we actually already started, but it has to do with our artist Rolodex. And we're shouting out, so it's called Image Makers of LA. And we're basically taking anyone who has submitted to our Rolodex and kind of giving them a shout out or a highlight, essentially kind of just sharing their work, a little bit about them, and just really to get more artists out there who maybe are in the industry and are having a hard time getting their name out there, their work seen. So just really giving everybody their flowers. So that one I'm really excited for. Anyone listening, if you would like to be a part of it or know someone who would be a part of it, send them to us because yeah, that's like my favorite thing right now.
Actually, we always do it at the end, of course, but can y'all mention where you prefer folks to reach out to BIC?
Yeah. You could email us at info@blackimagecenter.org. You'll be reaching me. Hi. I think Dakotah's also really responsive to DMs. Just don't come at her crazy.
Yeah. Yep. If it's DM, it's me.
I know y'all not wilding in Black Image Center DMs. Not Black Image
Girl,
Center DMs, please.
we
Like,
seen something.
uh-uh.
The emails too. It's not just the.
Y'all need to keep it together, actually. Very so. I don't like that. Y'all had a whole city of LA on y'all head. Y'all better stop playing. Well, here at PLC, we uplift women literally every single week. It's what we do, it's what we're made of. So we wanted folks outside of our shared identity to also pull up and love on us too. And here we have our BIC besties or PLC Posse, right? Isn't that kind of cute?
I like that. That was cute.
And our first BIC bestie up will be Jason Wright. He's gonna call in. I want y'all to feel like this is like a radio show. Like this is the segment where our guests can call in and be like, "Hey, we want to da 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 da." You know what I'm saying? So here is Jason Wright. Hey, Jason!
Hello, hello.
Thank you for
It
being
feels
up.
like walking into Black Image Center.
So perfect.
Yeah.
We're calling this a BIC bestie or PLC posse. So thank you for being a part of the gang.
Gang, gang. Love it. Love to be here. Love to be here. This does genuinely feel like walking into Black Image Center, like on any given day. It's like who's in there working? It's like, oh, hey, what's up? Or like somebody being with their head down, like, what I mean, headphones on deadline. Like, nah, this feels really great.
Yay! Happy to have you. So y'all might know Jason from a lot of different places, but you definitely know Jason from the Burnt Sienna residency that was hosted at Black Image Center. So Jason, can you let the people know a little bit about what you did there, how you stewarded that project? And I'm going to share the screen while you do that.
Absolutely. So, the research library installation at Black Image Center was a conversation that Maya and I had. I have spent 20 plus years working in and out of the fashion industry. So everything from opening retail spaces, creative direction, product development, and working with image makers and filmmakers and designers. So understanding how important having reference material is. Same thing with having research books. And I just had a lot of research books that I made available through the research library. And so with that being said, Maya and I talked about what it would look like for our research library to be in residence at Black Image Center for a few months. And that few months ended up being almost 9 months over the course of 2024. A really beautiful time. It's funny. I remember I was coming back from a trip. I was like, Maya, when I get back, I want to pitch to you this idea of putting the research library in Black Image Center. She said, don't pitch, just do it. Like, what day do you want to load in? And so I think she and I both saw the potential that it could have, but none of us had any idea the impact that having research books in a space would create these conversations, would create these spaces for people to see themselves in things that they didn't expect to see themselves in. And also, we got to add some new things to our collection through being there. Works from image makers from around the city. So it just made sense on so many levels, especially again, like so many people practicing on film, wanting to have physical things there. It was just, it really, it's one of my favorite spaces that we've had the research library have a residency for sure.
Yeah, and I remember that being a really beautiful time for a lot of people. Also, people learned how to make books at Sienna, and I was like, "Oh,
Yeah.
learn how to make a book?"
Which actually I remember the first time we talked about doing that. I was like, what if we did this as a way of using the art books as a reference to inform the type of art book that you want to make? Because there were a lot of image makers that still were trying to get their first gallery shows or wanting to get published. And it's like, what if you self-published your own thing? Or what if you have a project that you've once done that you want to revisit? And so again, the idea was, well, who else has taught how to do, bookmaking? And that's where Chanel Infante came up. Like she had done a workshop on bookmaking before. So it was like, oh, we can invite her to be a part of it. She was like, no, I want to participate. Like, I don't want to lead the thing. I want to participate in it. And so I think we did 3 cohorts, spanning multiple age ranges and generations, reference points and subject matters. And it was a really collaborative process. I also think it became somewhat cathartic because some people shared work that they maybe had only shared once before, and seeing it in the context through other people being like, that's great. Like, really? Like this thing from like my back files was great, including myself. So I was not exempt from that experience. Dakotah was a part of it, which you'd have to say more about what it's like from the experience because I was running it. So it's hard to know how it's received. But I do remember the enthusiasm you had on the last day. And I think that is shared by everybody that wrapped up. Like everyone felt their own specific enthusiasm or reconnection to their works for sure.
Yeah, Dakotah, please share. I want to know, what was it like for
Yeah,
you?
well, I'm happily. I loved that program so much. Even if it was just the people and no one even made a book, like so many incredible artists and minds and Jason obviously being the leader. And I think we all just kind of trusted each other so quickly, which is why I love so many of the things that Jason does. Like I think we're all like, because of Jason, we all automatically trust each other.
I'll take that.
But it was just such a special experience of like kind of discipline too. Like it really forced me to be committed to something and stick to it the whole time, and then have this like didn't have to be complete, but I ended up making, I guess, a completed series and turned it into a book anyways, which is not something that I'm usually doing or good at. So I think it just kind of gave us such a safe space to explore and share and then hopefully create something, and we did, and it was just so special. Yeah, shout out Jason for that.
You were so proud of holding your slides. You're like, no, and this is the thing, and I'm gonna walk through this, and I printed it this way. Like
Yeah.
everyone for a moment almost forgot their anxieties, which felt really beautiful to see. And also just the amount of peer support, like people cheering everyone on, but like, no, 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 tell us more about that one thing. You're like, oh my God. But also, let me pop off real quick. Like it was a beautiful experience. Really, really beautiful. I'm really happy to have been able to, again, like protect that space for anyone to feel safe enough to share things that maybe they were like, maybe it's not. It's like, no, it's important. Please share.
And that trajectory still lives on, I think. Thinking about, we mentioned a little bit earlier in the conversation that once BIC closed its doors, like parts of BIC went to the community and it's still shared. And I think what I take away from what you're saying, especially about specifically these art books, a lot of those books went to Art House Film Lab. And so some of these books, you can do your own research. You can find your own inspiration still in the city. Art House Film Lab is based in Chinatown. If you don't know, I don't know how you don't know already. But you still have access to those books because of BIC and because of Burnt Sienna.
Absolutely. And we also have a lot of the original collection of books here in the house in Hawthorne, which is where I am now. And so they are still available for anyone that needs to engage with them. If anyone's like, "Ooh, that's a little steep distance," or "Ooh, that's a little steep access price," it's like, cool, reach out. We have ways to make sure that it's accessible for anyone that is wanting to commit the time to come down, and you get unlimited scans of the books down here. But shout out to Sid over at Art House. That's where the actual original bookshelves that were Black Image Center actually made their way there, which Astrid was present when I was. So I really am working on asking for help. And Astrid definitely was like, I can do this. I was like, no, it's fine. Definitely watch me carry both of the bookshelves in and populating things. But I think that comes from, again, I grew up in Indiana, so like Midwestern guy. And that's definitely part of my identity from the standpoint of showing up, protecting space, protecting the women around me, protecting the ideas around me, because it may not be the most creatively safe space, because so many people are expecting you to go into a safe career. So being a creative any form isn't always safe. So what does it look like to protect those spaces? And coming into the space of Black Image Center and seeing how beautifully different all of the stories of all of the women of color that were coming through there, specifically Black women, and seeing the diversity of a lived experience through that lens. Even as someone that would like to think I've done a good deal of self-work and is very aware, there's still stories that I had not engaged with, like meeting Joelle and her stories of being in the Pacific Northwest. You know what I mean? Those were really important, but then also like the long conversations Astrid and I would have about like pieces she was developing, or even like when she was like, I don't take pictures. I don't know what I'm doing here, but we're going to figure this thing out. It's like, but the way that you write is in such a visual way, and being able to reflect that back, being there for the shorties screenings, right? All of them. It was a long night, but it was beautiful to be able to see a space where I don't think many of us, specifically like male socialized folks, and especially just even other women that I've talked to, like, I don't think there's too many spaces where a woman's inner monologue gets to be shared in a space that feels safe. And we get exposed to what those internal monologues are through the images that are shared, through the stories that are shared, through the struggles, the conversations that, man, I try to get these lights right on this shoot, but the color's still not hitting right or whatever. And just seeing how many people showed up to make sure that the stories were preserved and signal boosted and enhanced. And that to me is such an enduring practice that goes beyond the walls of that location. Like, you still see that show up, and people doing their own independent crits, and people showing up places and encouraging people to like go and do more and try more. And maybe you started in image making and now you're in ceramics like Michaela, you know what I'm saying? Like, being able to push that, I think that becomes a greater multifaceted like legacy of the practice that was within the walls of that Black Image Center location, more than anything.
Yeah, completely agree. Can you tell me again where you are and where people can find you?
Absolutely.
Where they can scan the books?
Yeah. So Burnt Sienna Research Library is inside of a residence. It's part of a Hawthorne House residency down here in Hawthorne, as part of Urban Ecology Conservatory. But the simplest way to get to it is literally just going online to our website, burntsienna.org. You'll see a tab for, I think it's library sessions. What does the tab say? Sorry, I just changed it again. But you'll see a tab to be able to book time to come down for the library sessions. And we have a overhead scanner and another digital scanner where you can take the books and actually make scans of them, but also come and be analog for a bit. It's a 3-hour session. You'd be surprised that you may only get through one book, or you might have a stack there. You may only flip through a few of them, but you find one image that changes the way you think or shows you something from the 60s or 70s, you're like, oh my goodness, someone else was trying to figure out how to do ... Okay, cool. Now I can build off of that research, whatever the case may be. It's a
I
beautiful
love that.
space to be in.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure I put that in the show notes at the end
Oh
of this.
yeah. Yeah.
Now, before you leave us, we have a new segment just for this month as we're celebrating Women's History Month, naturally, and it's called Name a Woman. So I want you to shout out any woman that you want to give a little love to that you met specifically through or because of Black Image Center.
Okay. Qurissy.
God.
But here's the thing. Meeting you through Black Image Center and then witnessing you, whether it was through, I still don't know what sparked the solo traveling thing, whether it's through grief or self-exploration, but
Yeah.
seeing the ways in which you've explored through just visual storytelling, understanding yourself, is some of the coolest things in the world. I've said this to you multiple times about the photographer fit checks and how it looks like this looks like a mixtape for an album that's never coming out, but at the same time, you know what the vibe is. So it's like, imagine if we selected image makers based on those type of face cards. Like, that's an incredible thing. But also, we had this conversation about how at one point in time, Frederick Douglass was the most photographed man in America because he understood the importance of being seen through so many different eyes. You are an eye that allows those that are behind the camera to finally actually be seen for the wholeness of the person they are, not just the person with the camera. I don't know that I've seen it done in this way, and I would not have met you if it wasn't for Black Image Center.
Wow.
So we're going to start with that.
Thank you so much. I
For real.
appreciate it, Jason.
For real. I could
That
go on.
That was very kind. I did not expect
Oh,
to be thrown into this segment, but I appreciate it. What an icon that you are. Thank you.
takes one to know one. Welcome. I definitely want to speak on Astrid and Dakotah respectively while we're here before we get into anybody that's outside of this, because Astrid, I learned more about the value of seeing people for where they are and not where you want them to be through watching you. The stories you've chosen to highlight and tell, the things that you have worked through within yourself, and the way that you write. It always feels like a ride along with the homie as opposed to being talked down by somebody. And if anyone's ever hung out with Astrid, riding along with this particular homie is very specific, and it's always going to be a good time. And you will always eat something delicious, and you will always learn some little tidbit about South LA that you did not know. And I don't know too many people that love South LA the unique texture of the way that like you or Lauren Halsey like do, you know what I mean? So it makes sense that you become this voice for the times that you have experienced, and you're a great steward, and you've already proven that you can be trusted with a space and holding space for people. So like, let's never ever play on your name again.
Don't play on her name. That's
okay. I'm gonna cry.
I feel like that's what Jason is trying to get out of us. He's trying to make us all cry.
Right.
Welcome to my channel. This channel is sponsored by Tears.
Thank you so much.
Dakotah has a way of softening the edges of the world. I've seen the way the images that you capture reflect people in a way that they didn't know they were allowed to be. So there's a permission that's given. But it still exists in this tension of, yeah, but there's so much more to it. Like I genuinely believe you could write a philosophical dissertation behind every frame you've ever shot. 1,000%. Like if you've never had a conversation with Dakotah and Dakotah feels comfortable with you, prepare for all of the philosophy things, because you gonna get it. And she's also not wrong, but also willing to say, I'm still figuring this thing out, but this part right here, I can speak on this, but also probably a lot of people think that they're thoughtful. A lot of people think that they're good gift givers. Dakotah knows how to preserve memories that you didn't know were valuable. And that could be through commercial work. It could be through, gosh, I've seen gift books that she's made for a partner that I'm like, why am I crying? This isn't even for me. Like, but there's just a level of intention of preservation to your approach that I think is why people, again, trust. The word trust comes up a lot for all three of you. Like, similar to what you all said to me, like, if someone is in the space with you all and you're holding that space, people trust that it's a space to explore whatever you come there for. But yeah, definitely a softening of the edges of the world. Like the stuff you write, the stuff you wrangle together in imaging is like, I wish the fidelity of my own memories was this nice.
Mm.
It's like if you could hire someone to like creative direct your memories, it's like, no, like let Dakotah do it because like this is gonna be fire. Play this at my funeral. Like this is great. In a real way. So for sure. Want to shout out Taylor Washington. Taylor,
Hey,
we had a
Tay.
conversation one day at it was one of the meetups I think the Sid had done or something like that. And she had an RZ and I was just talking about how much I love the images from that. She's like, here, hold. I was like, oh, wait, I can't touch this. She's like, no, for real, like touch it. Like, don't drop it, but touch it. It's like, okay, now try this and do this. And I consistently vocally cite her as the person that invited me to explore medium format through actually holding the camera and manipulating it, not just obsessing over the output. And then to hear more about her story through this podcast was like, yep, all of this tracks. Like all of this tracks. So big respect on Taylor's name for sure.
This is
They
so
should
perfect.
Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
hate to
I'm going on. Go ahead.
no,
I could list off forever. Carry on.
and that's why we knew we had to have you here as a BIC bestie because you constantly uplift women. Probably every single conversation I've had with you, you've shouted out a woman naturally. And because of your long stewardship of art practice, through this bookmaking, through this residency, I knew you were the perfect BIC bestie to come and show support to the girls, to the women for this month in
Oh, for sure.
celebration. We have our next BIC bestie in the lobby. So can you please let the people know where you can be found? Not just Burnt Sienna, unless that's the last place. You know, that's okay too.
Every once in a while, I'll share some pictures that I took on my personal Instagram, which is just Jason EC Wright. But other than that, like, find me anywhere that there's art, good people, and a conversation to be had that matters.
Jason, thank you. We love you. See you later.
Love y'all. See y'all soon.
Bye. This episode is brought to you by Bridges Build Studios. Bridges Build Studios is a creative space where you can host your workshops and intimate events or plan your next photo shoot. This Latina-owned studio is located in the Pilsen neighborhood in Chicago, and you can find them on Instagram at Bridges Built Studios to book. Let's get back to the show. Hey.
What's up, y'all?
Hey.
Grandma
House.
How y'all doing?
Good. Sid, thank you so much for being here and being a BIC bestie and PLC Posse. Welcome to the game.
Let's go, of course. I wouldn't miss it. Let's go.
Perfect. Okay, Sid. Please let us
I
know
didn't tell you that Astrid and Dakotah were gonna be here looking at me.
Oh, God, I'll be like this.
It's a family affair. Okay, Sid. So let us know, how has BIC impacted your career?
BIC has impacted my career in so many ways, but the one that sticks out the most is how to be in community. I was kind of messing around with the idea of what Art House could look and feel like, but it felt like having a physical space was really far away. And being at BIC and just seeing, these creatives together in community, learning from each other, growing, it taught me what that could look like. And I think it planted the seed for, in the eventual case that we get a space, what can you model that after? And to that point, I'd never seen anything like that. I mean, A lot of y'all were around for that. We beat up that Adam Davidson spot at and then hit DIC. And so yeah, that was really instructive. And of course, the community that comes with that. So many of my nearest and dearest friends and favorite creative came directly through BIC. So yeah, I don't know what our house would look like. I don't know if I would still be running it out of my crib, but look, I'm living my rap. Most of these books here
Let's
uh,
go.
are from the Black Image Center. So yeah, it's been a privilege to carry some of that legacy over, and of course, just remain in community with Black Image Center. So yeah,
I love it. You see how these
yeah,
connections keep coming together?
they keep coming
And then I
together.
have one last question for you. We have a special segment just for Women's Month as we celebrate all the women here. I
Yeah,
have a task for you. Please name a woman that you want to show some love to that you met because of or at Black Image Center.
a woman I want to show love to. Man, I could put all three of y'all on the spot, but
It was done
I,
already. You can't use us.
Next.
I can't. I can't say that. Man, Qurissy just be making up rules as we go. um, yeah. Wow, this is hard. I had to pick one.
Just one.
Just one. Okay. Um, I'm gonna go with Nesanet. Um, Ness has become like a sister to me.
Mm-hmm.
She, so backstory, I took a workshop at BIC. It was the drum scanning workshop. And at the time I was I was working on a project. It was for my website where I wanted to mix, um, basically old photos with new photos, ones that I took. But I wanted them all to look like they were old. So if you're looking at this collage, you wouldn't be able to tell what was shot in 1970, what was shot in 2024 or whatever it was, 23.
Yeah.
Um, and so that took a couple things using a certain type of film. It was a highest ISO film with grain, but it was the subjects really that would kind of be the tell, right? Is someone showing up in, you know, FUBU, we know, at earliest it could be in the 90s. It wasn't the 70s. And Neff has this, first of all, this way of dressing that feels very classic and elegant.
Yeah.
And during the workshop, I stole a couple shots, right? 'Cause me, I don't really act. It's like, look, I'll take it. But they came out pretty much exactly as I wanted, and I didn't want to use it without permission. And so the next time I saw Ness was at, I want to say it was Russ Hamilton's, was it Russ's thing? I don't know. Q, you were there. That's right. It was Russ's show, one of Russ's shows.
Yeah.
And because I saw that you knew Ness, I went through you to ask for permission.
Oh yeah, I
And
remember this actually. Yeah.
yeah, so, in her typical way, she didn't say yes and she didn't say no, but instead she was like, let's meet up at Black Image Center. I don't allow anyone to use my image, my visage,
And she don't
but
play it back either.
right. But because she was at least open to the idea. We ended up having a really special conversation. She was very familiar with my great uncle, and kind of his teachings. And yeah, it just kicked off a friendship that uh, to this day and probably forever, I hope, will remain. She's been a mentor to me. She pulled up and helped out with the grand opening, and
Yeah.
she continues to open doors from. I think she's in Portugal now, but or maybe she's back from that. She'd be traveling around the world. I don't actually know where she's at half the time,
No,
but
literally, let's be gone.
yeah, gone, 1000%.
But I love this one. Shout out to Ness. We're a big fan of Ness here. She was my teaching artist at Black Image Center as well. And also my sis, love her down. So we love you, Ness.
Love you, love y'all. Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank
We
you,
also
sis.
love Art House
Thank
Film
you,
Lab
sis.
here. So we really appreciate you pulling up for us, Sid. And we'll see you next time.
Take care. Peace, y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
There she is. Hey.
Hi, guys.
Hi. right. Thank you so much for coming. This is actually our first time meeting. I'm Qurissy. Thank you for coming on the podcast.
Hi, I'm Madelyn. Thank you for having me.
Of course.
Thanks for being here, Madeline. I really appreciate it. I know you're not feeling too well, so we won't take too much of your time. But yeah, can you just tell us about how Black Image Center? I know you work with so many different community organizations. So just like tell us like what makes Black Image Center unique in that way.
So, Black Image Center has definitely shaped the way I interact with archives, the owners of archives, and cultural preservation. I always say archiving is such an emotional experience because there are so many emotions tied into one singular item or material. Being able to connect with people at Black Image Center during our Black Family Archive events reinforces why our work matters so much. Photographs and visual records hold so much of our memory and our identity. And Black Image Center has influenced how I approach archival work, especially when it comes to community centered collecting and making sure materials are preserved with care and context. Black
Mhm.
Image Center has really motivated me and supported me in my cultural preservation work and advocating for access to archiving and preservation for our communities.
That was a perfectly succinct answer. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Perfect. I have one last question for you, Madeline.
Yes.
We're doing a special segment for Women's History Month, and it's called Name a Woman. This is where I would love for you to shout out one woman that you met because of or at Black Image Center, so we could just all send them a little love.
I am going to shout out two.
Okay,
India
perfect.
India Griffin. She was the archivist that I worked with when I first started at Black Image Center. She put me on becoming a resident archivist at Black Image Center. And
Wow.
I'm also going to shout out Astrid because Astrid has really supported every single thing that I do. She's just like a backbone for me when it comes to
Mm.
Black Youth Center. And I know that anytime I need anything, I can rely on her. So those are my two.
On clap it up for Indian Astrid. That is so beautiful. And can you let the people know where they can find you and
Yes.
your work?
My work is Ode2LA. That's ODE, the number 2, and LA on Instagram, and then ode2la.org. And my
Perfect.
personal Instagram is just Madelyn Inez.
Perfect. Thank you so much for being here. Also for being a part of the BIC Besties and the PLC Posse. We'd love to have you.
Yay.
And we'll see you next time.
Thank you,
Yay.
guys.
See you
Madelyn,
later.
thank you.
Hey.
Hi, guys.
Well, thank you so much for
Welcome.
being here and being a BIC bestie and a PLC posse. So, Chanel, I would love to know, what's your favorite memory at Black Image Center?
Oof. Okay. I actually have two.
Perfect.
But so the first one I wanted to bring up just because it's kind of how I got introduced to Black Image Center in the first place. But pretty much they had posted something on their Instagram stories about a book binding machine. And I freaked out. I nerded out about it and I slid in their DMs and I was like, how can I find out more about this? And they were just so sweet and right off the bat were like, you should just come in and maybe think about teaching a workshop or something here. And that's just kind of like, it just opened up so many doors just like in my head. I was like, wow, I never even thought about doing that. So that was the first thing that happened, and came in that same week, met like Lena, Maya, and everybody, and everyone was just so sweet and like welcoming and warm, and I was just like, what is this place? So yeah, that was the first initial one. And then I would say last year, February during the fires, was obviously a really crazy time for all of us. And Black Image Center reached out to me when they were doing an event to host family portrait sessions. So that was just incredible. Like we had such an intimate session, just one person with their partner and their mom, and it was just
so beautiful. Just it was really emotional and intimate. They had lost everything. They didn't have any of their family archive. So yeah, it was just like a really special moment to have. Um, and they felt so comfortable. Like afterwards, they were just like, "You guys were all amazing. Like we felt so comfortable and safe." And yeah, so I think that was just like the best memory that I have there.
I'm so glad you named both of them because they're actually so representative of the energy that the folks at
Hmm.
BIC have. Like, it's like, oh, you have an interest in this? Pull up right now. Like, what's up? Like, what you doing?
Yeah,
We can figure this
yeah, it was
out right.
instant.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's so beautiful. And so happy that you were able to be available for that, basically like the give back that we did. And hopefully we can continue to do. I mean, we did it so quickly right after the fires in
right.
January. We did the portrait sessions in February, which plenty of families were still trying to figure out like their next steps and weren't necessarily ready for portraits. So now that some time has passed, I'm sure BIC is like ready to get more people photographed and get their archives rebuilt.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it was so, and I think that was another layer to it that they were so fast to just be like, what can we do? And
Yeah.
like, it was just like, it was a crazy time where like everyone was donating clothes and like, it was just something, things were going on everywhere. So it was just like really
Mhm.
nice that they were so quick to think of something thoughtful to do in that time.
True.
Yeah.
Okay, Chanel. So we have a new segment that we're doing for Women's History Month to send a little love to the ladies, you know? So I have a new segment called Name a Woman. Here is where you're just gonna name a woman that you met either at or because of Black Image Center. So just give them some love and we're gonna give them some love with you.
Okay. Met at Black Image Center. I mean, I met so many people at Black Image
Mm,
Center. Can I say
Same.
Dakotah? Dak-
Yeah.
I need to shout out Dakotah because I feel like we had known each other very briefly just because of mutual friends, but because of Black Image Center, we were able to like actually connect in such an intimate way that I would have never really gotten to know her in that way. So I'm gonna
Mhm.
shout out Dakotah.
Hey, shout out to Dakotah.
But yeah, I think every time I step foot into Black Image Center, I'm meeting new people, and I'm just like, it's just so crazy that everyone knows that that's a safe place to go, and that you're gonna leave there with some type of new connection, some new
With a
Instagram follower, or
gem.
just like somebody new.
So true.
Yeah.
Chanel, last before you leave, please let the people know where they can find you and all your beautiful work.
Well, just my name. I'm just like Instagram, Chanel Infante, um, TikTok. I'm big on
Okay,
TikTok
TikTok.
these days. But yeah, Instagram, TikTok, my website. It's just my first and last name. It's nothing special. But
That's
Okay,
special.
beautiful. That's what I was about to say. That's special too. Well, thank you so much for being a BIC bestie and being a part of the PLC Posse officially. And we'll see you next time. Thank
thank
you.
you. I love your hair, by the way. It
Oh my
looks
God,
so
thank
good.
you. Thank you.
It looks
So
amazing. All right. Well, have fun, guys. I hope I see you guys soon.
yes, see you
Bye,
later.
Chanel.
Bye.
Hey,
Hello.
Austin, thank you for joining us. How are you today?
I'm fine. How you guys doing today?
Good.
I'm
Great.
smooth. I'm smooth. What do you imagine for Black Image Center's future?
What do I imagine for Black Image Center's future? In my vision, just knowing how much you guys have committed to the community already, it's just this idea of expansion and growth. Since I moved here, and I've told you guys this individually, and I'll say it on this podcast, I've never been a part of a movement. Now, I'll call it a movement that's been so impactful, especially to creators of color. And from what I'm seeing, and definitely would like you guys' opinion on it, women creators of color, just putting creators of color at the forefront, being expansive in their ideas and in you guys' ability to outreach the local community, making resources available to individuals that would other not would otherwise not know that these things are available to them, or would have to, attend an institution or something like that that's may or may not be within their means to have access to have understanding of what it means to be an artist, a photographer, and just what you can do and what type of impact you can have, not just in the commercial space, but in the arts context. And I just would hope that other places and other entities can take on this model that's very supportive of communities of color, because we're extremely talented, and I don't think that we have those eyes on us hardly ever. And then even if we are, there's always eyes on just that one person as if they're an anomaly or something, when we have a whole group of individuals that are incredibly talented, that are incredibly gifted, and just need those spaces and those opportunities to shine. And I know that Black Image Center has been that for me. You guys
Percent.
have got me into like teaching, which is something I did not have on my bingo card, vision board, anything like that. That was not that was not something that I thought I was going to be doing. Um, but you guys embraced me and brought me into your community. You didn't just make me a part of the community, you made me a part of the family. And I just would like to see something that strong and that beautiful move forward in other places and other cities across the country.
That was so perfectly well said and completely agreed. Black Image Center has changed my life in so many different ways, including the people that I've met. So I really appreciate this shout out.
Yes.
Lastly, we have a new segment just for this month called Name a Woman. And it's so we can have a little moment to shout out a woman that you've either met at Black Image Center or because of Black Image Center. And we can show them a little love too. So please, who shall we give this love to?
Oh my God, y'all put me on a spot. I can sit here, especially through Black Image Center. I can just sit here all day and name him. Let me say somebody that's not currently being shown right now, so I'm not being biased, but I'm going to say Maya June. Specifically
Yeah.
just her being so incredibly sweet and all the things that the ladies of Black Image Center have sacrificed to keep this thing going. I know that it's cost them so much, but like she's keeping it going. She's amongst one of the people that's keeping it going and doing all of the legwork that I don't think most people are even aware of, and I wasn't even aware of until I talked to her and realized, the sacrifice that the matriarchs, the big three I would call of Black Image Center are making. Um, so like it just goes to show that building community isn't something that's done overnight, and it does take a lot of hard work and commitment, and it takes a deep sense of love and appreciation. And I respect her commitment. I respect what she's helped done with the first seven, and now blossoming into this expansive community of individuals that are supporting Black Image Center, and everything that she's doing with her work and her art. If you're not familiar with it, it is so incredibly impactful, from a space of deep vulnerability, um, from just showing what someone can be in spite of hurt. And there's a lot of things that she could have done in reference to like maybe just giving up or anything like that, but she didn't. She just kept going and kept glowing, and we're benefiting from her choice to be an amazing person. So yeah, but I can say this about three of y'all. I can literally sit here and just write a whole little dissertation for each and every one of you guys if you gave me like 2 hours. So like
Maybe
on
we'll
how
let you
you,
get back on the pod.
yeah, on how you each individually benefited my life. So thank you, Dakotah. Thank you, Qurissy. Thank you, Astrid,
And
for
thank
being
you,
there for me.
Maya.
And thank you, Maya, Simone, Kalani, everybody that's contributed. There's too many to name.
Beautifully, beautifully said. Well said. And last but not least, of course, can you let the people know where you would like to be found, if you would like to be found?
Uh, yeah, I'm trying to come up from up underneath my rock a little bit.
I
I'm on
love to hear it.
Instagram at Austin P Pope, AUSTINPPOPE. Not gonna spoil it, but maybe we got some stuff coming through Art House / Market Drones in the near future. I can't say what, because Sid don't like spoiling stuff before it's time. So just just be aware of that. I think we got some things coming up that actually were inspired by two of the women on this podcast today. So I think y'all know
Ooh.
what I'm talking about, but we just gonna let that roll. And hopefully we'll have some good information for you guys soon.
I love a surprise, so I can't wait to see it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, Austin. You are officially a BIC bestie and a part of the PLC Posse. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you. All right. I'll see y'all later.
Yeah.
All
Thanks,
right. Bye
Austin.
bye.
Okay, so I know we already did our Name a Woman at the top of the show, but we specifically need to give some love to the big three, as Austin said, which I love. I'm gonna start saying that.
Same.
Yup.
Maya June, Kalina, and Simone. Can we please give them some love for being the icons that they are, for beginning BIC from the beginning and stewarding it through today and keeping it alive? How about we each share maybe like a little bit of love for all three of them so we can help manifest more greatness, more abundance for BIC and the three of them individually?
I'll start. I don't have like English words to describe how I feel about each and every one of them. And on top of being incredible artists and creatives, they just are such beautiful humans and women, and they really care so deeply for the community and people individually. Like you really just feel like a kid. Like Astrid and I always joke that Maya adopted us, so we just feel like the adoptees of Maya June, and I'm
Mother
so
Maya.
happy. Mother Maya. But just like their care and consideration and time and commitment to artists and to our community and to LA and to themselves is just beyond words. So I'm so happy to work under them and for them and with them. And yeah, it's just such an honor. It's been my favorite job, and it doesn't even feel like a job because it's just like such an extension of myself and my work and my love, and being behind them and with them is just I don't know. I don't have words. I could cry.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, Dakotah said it, that I can't even like like echoing everything you said. The Black Image Center is everything. It is what it is because of those three women, right? And how dedicated they are, and genuinely just how like cool they are, and what such a strong vision they have for Black Image Center. Everything in the way that the space looked, in the way that we approach collaborations, in the way that we think about what this organization is, and what a nonprofit even can be, is so expansive and wonderful. And it's because of those three women. And they're just everything. They're truly everything. Again, just the coolest people alive. And so even when Dakotah and I, we help steward Black Image Center now. When sometimes we get like stuck on something, like I wouldn't know how to do this. It's just like literally like, what would Maya do? What would Maya June do? What would Kalena do? What would Simone do? And it's like, no, they wouldn't like take that. You know what I mean? Or okay, they would approach it like this. And so it's been great just even inheriting all of that knowledge, and even just the way, like I said, a way of moving through the world and moving through this space very differently, and with a very expansive view of what that could be. And yeah, I mean, also just very personally, it's like, I have a writer's background, and like now I work in project management and operations, and I can only do that because Maya and Simone and Kalena took a chance on me to be able to help do that and give me some more skills at Black Image Center, and it's completely opened my world in a different way. And so I love what they see in people and how they continue to invest in people, and I just want to continue to do that, in their, like, just as someone who's like part of their legacy. Which sounds crazy to say. But yeah, they're awesome, and I love them. Shout out them, the big three.
Yes. And I guess to wrap it up, I want to say a huge shout out to Simone, who was my co-resident at the Black Magic Rodeo residency in Tulsa, Oklahoma, with Adam Davis, who we were able to share space many a times because of BIC.
Mm-hmm.
And to Kalina, who I actually met at BIC, who actually she was trying to hit me with a little motion when I met her. I was at some event, I think it was a portfolio review actually. And I sat next to her and she was like, "Hey, have you been here before? Like, what do you think about this place?" Blah, blah. Little did I know she was an undercover spy. But it worked out perfectly because I had nothing but good things to say anyway. And she was like, "Okay, cool, because XYZ." And I'm like, love her. And that woman's genius is incredible. She's helped me with contracts. She has adorable little baby dogs and also a new baby herself. So I think she's an absolute gem of a woman. And then Maya June, who has connected me to part of my Los Angeles world because of BIC. I've met largely my LA community at or through BIC, or we end up having a BIC connection. And I'm just so incredibly grateful for that. Even with the space no longer being the same anymore, I still feel so connected to LA. It has made my experience in LA completely beautiful and worth it. And I'm so grateful for that. So shout out to you three. Y'all are the best. And I'm so grateful that now I have a platform that I can spend a little time with y'all to celebrate Black Image Center. Like, who knew that the tables would turn so quickly? Like, how beautiful. I'm happy to be able to give back, and I'm thankful that you both could show up for Black Image Center here today, and we could all, celebrate us together.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You.
Wonderful. Now, can we please let the people know where y'all would like to be found? And then additionally, how folks can maybe reach out, donate, support Black Image Center.
Black Image Center could be found at Black Image Center on Instagram, and you could also donate, see more about what we're about at www.blackimagecenter.org. Again, I'm Astrid. You can find me and my work at astrid.kmbe. Last name spelled Kayemsin Michael, BSM boy E.
Beautiful. And yeah, hit us up at Black Image Center. I look at all of your DMs, all of your comments, and I love them. Thank you so much for the support. And personally, you can find me at Dak Whiting Photography on Instagram, or my website, which is just dakotahwhiting.com.
And you can find us at Photographer Live Check literally anywhere you get your podcast, but especially where you watch us, which is YouTube and Spotify. I want y'all to see all of the beautiful faces that come and visit us and all the beautiful work we show y'all. Because if you don't know, we share our screen every single episode so y'all can see the work that we're talking about. And for me, you can find me at Qurissy. That's Qurissy. Also, pretty much anywhere you get your podcast. So we'll see y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.